Hi, everybody. It's Jason Robert LeClaire, and we are going to have an art party. That's right. So I've invited some friends along. They might come, they might not. I'm not sure. But we can party. We can make some art. And you can let me know what you're working on. You can, drop comments as we're working. I'm going to be working on a very special piece today. I'm going to be working on a piece for a friend who is, expecting a child and has asked me to do some work that reflects their family. So let's get on it, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty. There we go. Welcome to the art party. Because, well, if you're in New England, I mean, like, that's what we call it. It's art. We make art. Sorry, it's, Hey, Nate, good to see you again. One of those things where, it is what it is. And we've got these weird little accents out here, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, we have fun. We make fun of each other. We make fun of ourselves. And today we are going to party. We're going to party like it's, I don't know, like it's whatever. But we are going to be working on this really delightful little painting of kind of a family portrait. It's a little bit stylized. I wanted you to see the sketch before I start playing around with it. I just want to lighten that up a little bit because I do not want necessarily, if I go outside the lines, for the lines to show. We are going to start this in watercolor. So, with watercolor, once you put the watercolor down, that's it. You're not getting that pencil mark up again. It's going to live there. So, much as I love pencil marks, for this one, not really wanting to see that so much. So I'm just going to pull gently so I still have my contour. If there are lines that are out there that I'm like, no, I don't need those. I'll get rid of them. Most of the baby lines came out really good, so we're going to leave those as is. And the two puppy dogs that are guardian angels are up at the top. And they're going to be helping me out, hopefully, today, too. Get this right. Hey, hello from Oklahoma City. So good to see you, Lindsay. Welcome back. I know you were here last week, I believe, which was so much fun. And this week we are playing around with some watercolor. Last week I was working with ballpoint pen and a lot of detail work. And today I'm going to be working with a lot of not detail work. I'm going to be doing quite the opposite of detail work. I'm going to be doing my washes and stuff today and getting these things down. So what I'm using Van Gogh watercolors, which are considered a student grade, but I'll be honest with you, they're actually pretty good. I'm good with it. I really enjoy the pigments. I think they work quite well. So speaking of pigment, I'm going to get my reference material out here so that I can understand the coloration of these beautiful golden retrievers is who we're playing with today. So, yeah, that's that. And so these particular Goldens have kind of some really interesting coloration in their fur, etc. I really, really like it. I think that it's some fun coloration. It's almost like an orangish sort of color on some of it, and some of it is very much the yellow ochre that you would normally see in a golden. So I'm going to kind of mix up a little bit of those here, get that going, but of course not that dark. Yeah, there we go. Oh, look at that. You can't see that. I'm saying, look at that. You can't see it. There we go. Much better. Okay, cool. So let's start on our pictures of these beautiful, beautiful animals. I'm going to lay down some of this color first, and we're going to work right over here with a dog that is pretty much has been described by their fur parent as a platinum blonde, like through and through. And the pictures certainly say that as well. And as in most dogs that are older, a little bit more white towards the snout and around the eyes and whatnot. And we are going to have to put in some white on this guy to get him, kind of working through. And sadly, this dog has crossed the Rainbow Bridge, so we are going to go ahead and have him fade out a little bit over there. We try not to forget our dear friends. And I'm not going to get morose, but suffice to say, I want this to be a nice memory for the person. I want them to actually really like this and remember their friends and move from there and have a good time. All right, and there's some nice bass tones on these other two that are almost the same, that golden color, and then I'm going to have to work in the more red color. I guess what I love about illustrating with watercolor is that it just feels so freeing sometimes. Because you can kind of just let it flow and play around with it, and it doesn't have to be exact, but you still get the suggestion of colors and really pretty stuff happening. At least I think it's pretty. I like it. And I'm just using a pretty standard round brush. It's actually the one that came with the watercolors themselves. So it's nothing fancy today with brushes, or you don't need all the time to have the super expensive brushes to get the work done. All depends on what you can do with the tool. Sometimes, yes, it's very nice to have those very nice tools because they do some things that other tools can't. And I appreciate them very much so. I have quite a few different varieties of brushes, different grades of brushes, because I'm always doing different work. There was one person that I was at an illustrators conference, oh gosh, it must have been 15 years ago, that worked solely with throwaway brushes. Hey, hello from Lynchburg. Nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. And so what he would do is he would buy the classroom packs of 200 brushes, and he'd blow through them in half a year. And because he was so rough with his watercolor, with how he put it down, he worked with acrylics. So he was really, really rough and really kind of beat up on his paintbrushes and got tired of replacing good paintbrushes really, really quickly. So he developed his technique to work with these throwaway brushes, quote unquote throwaway brushes. Nate, you set up Streamlabs? I've never used that particular platform. How do you like it? Molly. Hello, Molly. Hello, welcome back. Lovely to have you back. It was great to hear from you on Sunday. We spent a bit of time, all sorts of stuff on Sunday. We are coming back this Sunday with a little bit more. I hesitate to say serious work, but kind of is. We are going to be working on a landscape, and it is going to be in acrylic washes this time round. So acrylic washes, and that promises to be a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite mediums to play with. I put a little bit too much of that color. There we go. Hello. So yeah, that'll be fun. I think the hardest part of a job doing like this is that unless you see like video of these fur children, you don't really get a gist of like who they are and how they. I mean, someone can go ahead and describe them to you all they want. It's really difficult to kind of like get a gist of how a dog would behave in certain situations, unless you had like you met the dog or had video of the dog. At least for me, anyway. Because you want to capture the essence of this animal. You want to capture the essence of the model, basically, that you're trying to do this. Oh, cool. Oh, that sounds really cool, Nick. And you can do that on apps too, actually. Most of that. Been drawing cats on bisque plates. Oh, wow. Oh, that sounds so cool. Oh, definitely want to see those. That just sounds way too cool, right up my alley, that sort of stuff. Bisqueware is, I anybody that can do ceramics, you have my utmost respect. I do not have the patience, and I cannot. When somebody shows me a color, it kind of better turn out like looking like that color and not looking like something else. My colleague at the school is a ceramist, and she teaches the kids ceramics, and I am always floored by what comes out of that kiln. Like, oh, that's cool. Now, do you have a kiln, Molly, or do you use um, another kiln in another studio, or a college kiln, or is there a community kiln? I know some places kind of like do share studio shares and have community kilns and stuff. My favorite was always watching a good old-fashioned raku fire. Oh, pyromaniac heaven. Yeah, that was like a bonfire to make pottery in a trash can. Gotta love it. What's not to love? Bonfire, trash can, pottery. Hey, it's got all the best aspects of life. Shared studio. Ceramic co-op. Oh, cool. Yeah. We've got something like that for welding around here called the Steel Yard. And they do like lessons and everything for welding. They also do forging and. Hey, from Denver, Chris. Good to see you. So they do like all sorts of stuff, metal oriented, and they get some really great commissions too for a lot of city sections in Providence. They made trash cans all over the city. They do bike racks. The common things that for beautification purposes are really, really important. Utilitarian, but has to be really pretty. Oh yeah, Raku is awesome. Like to lay feathers or horsehair on the pieces. Oh, that must be interesting. So, Chris, how's everything out in Denver? Thank you very much, Nate. I will definitely check that out. I'm just starting to get used to Haps, so I'm not sure if I'm old. I'm not sure if I'm ready for another platform to play on. I'm already playing on this and Twitch and YouTube and all that jazz. It's hard for me to keep up. New version of Haps is weird. You mean like the mobile update or the one that's more computer oriented? Because I haven't had time to explore the mobile update yet today. I just got that just updated on me. Okay. I'm going to leave these pups alone for a little bit and let them dry and kind of play around with what we got going on here. I'm having a lot of fun with this crib. And let me tell you why. It's pretty simple. This is a baseball family. So snow's still there. Oh gosh, yeah. We got rid of ours finally, but then again, we've had blizzards on April Fool's Day around here, so you never know. So what I've done is in this, I've decided that the legs of the crib have to be baseball bats, and the knobs on the top, of course, are going to be baseballs. I'm going to carry that baseball theme through with the rug as well. The rug is just a giant baseball rug. And so, this little slugger is going to have all sorts of stuff baseball oriented in the room. They've already told me that they've decorated the entire thing baseball. So let's give them something else that they're going to have to try to find now with a baseball crib. My cat has found something. If you can hear that in the background, that is my cat trying to paw out the window. Don't ask me how she thinks that she's going to do that. So what's glitchy on the iOS program, Molly? Because I haven't, like I said, I haven't had time to explore it really. So I'm curious what I am looking forward to or looking to avoid on that iOS program. A little bit too thick with that front one, but that's okay. Can perspective it out over here. Sorry if I'm blocking this shot, guys. I don't think I am. I think I'm above this shot. There we go. Got a bunch of natural wood here. So, oh, cool. You can turn over. So, Molly, when you turn the phone sideways, what does it do? It splits the screen for you, like automatically split screen, so you can use another app at the same time. Kind of a cool feature. Ew. That's not cool. I'm constantly making mistakes. I'd hate to not be able to change something after I type it. I'm guaranteed to type it wrong. Which can be really bad with predictive text. Anybody else have that issue? Predictive text that's really embarrassing? Then you have to try to like tell people it was your computer that said it, not you. And that never looks good. Oh no! Oh no! I'm so sorry. Not that I'm sorry you are, but I can only imagine what predictive texting does to that when you're trying to figure it out. Oh boy. Ugh. Do not envy you on that one. But okay. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Got a lot of little colors coming down here. Working through, playing around. So again, I'm working on playing on the cat. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's fantastic. I would too. I absolutely would. Where's my cat? I don't want her to hear that. So I'm going to keep with the whole baseball motif. And in order to do that, I figured, I'm going to make the blanket a baseball diamond. And I want to get that out of the way first, because if I don't, all those precious little toes and everything that I'm trying to work in there are probably going to get hit with stuff as I go through. And I kind of don't want to do that. Oh my gosh. That's you're not having a good time over there, Molly. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Nate that said that. Nate! Your phone got stolen. What the heck? That's not good stuff. That's not good at all. Well, I hope things work out tomorrow for you with that new phone. Alrighty. So glad some artists dropped by today. Always makes me, you know, really excited. So, Molly, you were working on the greenware with the ceramics. Chris, what are you working on? Oh, cool! Like you made a sink out of ceramic. I mean, you did a porcelain sink, like maybe a mold or something. How did you do a sink? Or were you just doing the decor on the sink? Oh, that's curious. Really want to figure out what that is. Do tell, do tell. That sounds like fun. You threw the sink on a wheel. Oh, okay. So it's those are the coolest things. So it's this really nice giant like bowl. I love that look. I think it's so beautiful. Okay, so I got a question for you, Molly, and this is a sculpture question. I really, really enjoy doing painting like 3D miniatures, but I really like sculpting in and in clay, making small figurines, etc. So the question is, where do you get uh, the wheels? I don't even know what they're called. It's like it's the wheel upon which you can do slab work, or you can do your glazing, etc. For your throne work. It's the little metal posing wheel. I sound really official and artistic now, don't I? But the name escapes me right now. I know there's some sort of official name, or it's just a wheel. I don't know. I'm trying to find a good one. I learned a long time ago with certain supplies, cheaper is not better. The stuff like that I'm always looking for. Not high end, but better quality. Not like, a $10 plastic one. Okay, cool beans. All right, we're setting up some color here. We're getting things rocking and rolling. Gotta love it. All right. Let's get with the red potter's wheel. Thank you. Scott Kilns. Okay, I'll check it out. Thank you for the tip. Just what I needed. Okay, so these dogs, what I really liked about these dogs was they had this really cute, just little like amount of pink on the noses that blended in with the dark brown / black. They all had it. They all had this little tiny bit of pink that was kind of like blending in. Not so much this guy. I had very, very little, but I still have it. So I want to make sure that I have that in there and that I can let that dry enough that I can put some sort of black around it. One that sits on a table, but they're only able to hold about 8 pounds. Oh yeah, I wouldn't be sculpting anything anywhere near that. No, my sculptures are usually character maquettes and stuff like that, so they're not usually very big. Regular floor model. So is that the one that looks like a stool but is not? Because I don't want to throw anything. I just want like I don't want something that's automatic. I just want to get something that's I'm going to be able to put something on it. It's like a finish wheel, so that I can turn the object around while I'm painting or while I'm detailing or while I'm sculpting by hand. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So maybe that's not a potter's wheel. If you hadn't been able to tell from watching me a couple times now, I'm very detail oriented. I really like details. So when I'm sculpting, I put detail in too. And it'd just be nice to turn the object on a surface where I don't have to actually pick it up and move it to get it to do what I want it to. The ending wheel, that's it. That's it. Yes, the metal lazy Susan. That's what I'm looking for, precisely. Where the heck do I find one of those? Because I looked, like, as per everybody else does, I looked on Amazon, and I wasn't pleased with what I found. Because to get me thing halfway decent, it was way more expensive than I was willing to spend on something. There we go. Looky. Yeah, coming out pretty good. I'm okay with it now. It's getting there. Definitely getting there. Sheffield Pottery or Clay King online. Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you for those tips. That's what I needed to know. All right, I'm grabbing a little burnt sienna, a little Payne's Gray right now. At the same time, and get eyes on these pooches started. I'm going to use the same color on the noses, I think. I'm probably going to try to pop some detail in with maybe some colored pencil. I'm not sure yet. I know that I'm not going to finish it today. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, okay, cool. So there was one on Amazon that was decent? That's cool. I'll have to see if I can find it again. Maybe I just didn't look enough. Maybe it's because I forget what the darn thing is called that kind of like does me in. Huh. There we go. Get that nice little fade going down. Oh, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's hard to find, I think, supplies for um, an applied art that's a little bit different than what the item was made for, you know? I am not happy with this guy's mouth right now. Just lighten that up a little bit. Yeah, I think I definitely don't want to use this brush for the rest of this when it comes to that. It's too big for the details I need. Okay, time to switch brushes. Woohoo! Time to break out the big guns. Actually, time to break out the little guns. Because the big guns aren't helping me. So, kind of some of my favorite brushes to get detail work done. Itty bitty round brushes. Okay, cool. That's not bad. That's not bad. If I'm going to invest, I could do that. It's when you put a 1 in front of that I'm kind of like, yeah, no. Don't have that to put into it. It's hard to justify when I haven't made like enough of them to make them a product yet. I've always loved doing them, but now I see a lot of value in them in respect to illustration, and I want to keep going with them. I had a lot of fun over the summer with one in particular. I definitely want to reproduce that. That I got into a show, and that was fun because I had the illustration to accompany it, which was what made it even better for both of the things. You know, it helped out the sculpture and helped out the illustration. Oh yeah, this is far more controllable now. He's got a little nose. I'm also trying to keep the colors kind of light because, you know, this is going in a baby's room. And I want it to be lively and fun and, you know, maybe not too dark. I want to make sure that it's pleasant to look at and doesn't clash with any of the baby stuff. I'll tell you, my kids had primary colored everything. Everything was primary colors. It was a very, very exciting room when they were little. Made the house a lot harder to sell. Yeah, because I muraled everything. My real estate agent looked at it and said, how am I going to sell this? How on earth do you want? You got any suggestions to put this thing on the market? I said, market it as professional artist's home with unique artistic touches. That didn't really do it. Didn't actually help. That's okay. It eventually sold very good. So I hope everybody out there is having a good day and prepping for a really fun weekend, or at least a relaxing weekend. I know I've got a couple commissions to do, but you know what? It's all good. I'm working on a commission. I'm still getting to do my art. I'm still doing what I love. And hey, I'm going to get paid for it. I'm kind of okay with that. Spread around the love. No shadows pumped in there. Okay, now this is one cute pooch. I'm good with this. I really like how he's turning out. I think I might have to add a little water over there, kind of blend that in, but I can live with that. The hard part here is that I don't want it to look cartoony. Because that's not what my friend would like this to look like. Definitely wants more of kind of like a portrait, but still with some, still got to look like I did it. So it's still got to have some of my kind of like stylization to it and whatnot. But it just shouldn't look like a cartoon. So I got to kind of like avoid making it look like a cartoon here. Which is difficult because I don't know about y'all, but I think that A lot of pets already look like cartoons. They're just naturally good cartoons. Yeah, lots and lots of fun. So it looks like we got 52 people that have checked this out so far. That's fantastic. Share and share alike, everybody, if you wouldn't mind sharing this. And don't forget to, if you haven't already, those of you that might be watching but not commenting, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do on either YouTube, wherever you're watching. So subscribe on YouTube, like the Facebook page, or go ahead and if you're on Haps, subscribe to the Haps channel. If you're not on Haps, we'll get on Haps. It's good. It works. It's good stuff. I like it. It's been very, very helpful for me as an artist, as a creator, to kind of like put me out there online and get me rolling. Especially with good friends like Bobby Blicker, who's probably pronouncing her last name wrong, who was on the show last week. She is tremendous, and probably one of the most generous advocates for collaboration and artists working with each other instead of against each other. She's just really a phenomenal person, and I can't thank her enough for introducing me to Haps. Because so far, it's been delightful. I'm really enjoying it. I hope everybody is having a very good Friday. I like Fridays. Fridays are nice. The weekend's finally here, sort of. And even if you're working in the weekend, there's just something about that end of the week that just feels nice. Just like a sigh of relief, kinda. For some reason, it just sticks with you. I don't know what it is. And again, it's not like everybody gets the weekend off. I don't. Haps is where the cool kids hang out. You said it. You said it. Which makes me wonder why they allowed me in, but I'm not going to question. I'm just going to go with the flow and pretend I belong here. Got me through high school. Oh, speaking of which, I'm going to do a shameless plug for my friend who's a musician. Andre Salles, Salles, is releasing a brand new album, I believe April 16th, called 20. And it's all instrumental. If there are vocals, they're vocalizations, not really vocals, so don't look for lyrics. And just a couple of preview tracks that he's got now on YouTube, definitely worth the watch for those intro videos. Now, see, that sounds like fun. Taking the girl on and watching bad movies. What sort of bad movies are bad movies for you? That's a good question. There we go. What do you think are bad movies? Are they bad as in they were made badly? Are they bad as in the content is bad? What makes a bad movie? What makes a bad move right now, I can tell you, is that thing that's happening to the eye on this dog. Darn it. Darn it like a sock. Catwoman. Okay, I'm sorry. I just need to. I'm going to go to the bathroom for a second. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was a pretty awful movie. Old Godzilla movies. Oh, a friend of mine is like super into Godzilla. He is a phenomenal fantasy painter. and just oils, acrylics, everything. Bob Eggleton, and Bob has the most exquisite collection of Godzilla paintings that he's done that are just like, I mean, they're fine art. They're not illustrations. They're fine art, and they're gorgeous. So if you get a chance, you want to see really good Godzilla stuff, go see Bob Eggleton's work. I'm sure you can find him online, and his name is spelled just like it sounds. He's from Rhode Island, so he's right around where I am. But man, his stuff is fantastic. Love his stuff. So he does like covers for novels and stuff, occasional movie posters. Yeah, it was bad, but I just saw this whole documentary on Japanese Spider-Man. That is totally fine, Michelle. I totally understand. Um, I teach most of the time, so my time frames are super limited too, and I always end up with the worst time slots for other people to join me. It seems, and I feel bad, but it's like this is when I have time. Right after school, in between this and working on a gig or a contract. Okay. So I'm going to let him sit, because if I don't, I'm going to mess that up even more than I did. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, thank you so much. What time are you going live, Michelle? Because I teach tomorrow. So that's the hard part for me is I actually don't I don't take Saturdays off as a teacher. I keep going because I don't know, maybe I'm a masochist. I have to check my schedule. So what time Eastern would you be going on? Or just tell me what time you are. I'll figure it out. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is I don't know if you were around for a little bit, but this is a commission for a friend of mine who is expecting, and they have these two pooches up here that crossed the Rainbow Bridge this year, and the child is on the way, should be here shortly, and they wanted, them as kind of like guardians, but not angelic. Oh, okay. I will be working on a commission, so maybe I'll just turn the camera on, tune in, and you guys can watch me letter a menu for a coffee shop. Exciting, right? Pays the bills. What are you going to do to pay the bills? That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I really enjoy having doing stuff with her. I was just saying to everybody what a phenomenal you know advocate and just such a welcoming person she is. Very all about community and you know the arts community and her online community, etc. So reaching out and making sure people feel welcome is it's such a treat to have somebody like that. Especially after this year. after all the turmoil and craziness in the U.S. And it was not a good year for friendliness and neighborly behavior. So I think Haps is becoming like maybe Clubhouse extension at this point for the Artist Lounge. We're all getting on Haps. Thank you, Bobby. And the people that comment the most on here are all the folks I met there. Which, by the way, thank you all for coming and dropping in and spending a little time with me while I sit here and just gab on and on and on and paint. And it's kind of like how I wind down after a week of work. Even though it's a commission, it's still like a lot more relaxing and gets my head back in gear after a week of trying to get. How long have you been in illustration? This is great. Oh, thank you. This is a fun story. So my first ever gig was technically when I was 15. So that would make it 31 years. For the Dial Corporation. One of my friend's parents worked for Dial and was in a contest to create an end cap display for 20 Mule Team Borax and wanted a really, cartoon, catchy looking mule cover for the top end for it. So it was like a hello, thank you. Hi, Frenchie. So at 15 years old, I remember taking over my parents' mudroom for like a week and making this giant 4-foot piece of colored pencil work. So I kind of got I love your comment. Yeah, Clubhouse, actually, I really like it in some rooms. In other rooms, yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. It's like a extended TED Talk. It depends on what you're going in for. I mean, the Artist Lounge is very different. Most of the time, it's just kind of like people, and there are some topics that get brought up and discussed and get almost TED Talky, but not quite. But then again, I've only been using it for like a few weeks now. But there are definitely like, you go to one of the tech rooms, or every other room seems to be NFT talk, which, I mean, my wife's a financial advisor. We've got financial news on every single day. I hear NFT when I wake up, when I go to bed, all the time. I've determined one thing. I don't want to right now approach NFTs at all. Your mom's a portrait artist. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, my mom's an art teacher. And with the frequency that I was like playing with Legos and actually I used to draw Transformers. I used to like make my own drawings of Transformers because I lived right in the backyard of Hasbro. Literally like 2 minutes walk from my house was Hasbro World Headquarters. At the time, they've moved, but at the time they were right around the corner in my hometown. And so I always wanted to be a toy designer when I was little. I thought, how cool would it be? I used to make Transformers out of my Legos. My parents thought that I was going to be a designer of some sort, like I was going to be doing, formal design work or industrial design or something like that. But I fell into illustration. I fell in love with telling stories instead. I just love telling visual stories. Yeah, heard about NFT. I don't really get all the fuss. Yeah, it depends on what kind of work you're doing, Frenchie. I mean, if you're doing a lot of digital work and you feel comfortable making it a little bit more secure, I guess, on the blockchain, so that it's it ends up being kind of like single owner versus the ability to spread it around all over the place, as far as I understand. So it has that kind of like built-in security feature because there's only one code for whatever it is that you've made an NFT, as far as I understand it. So yeah, I mean, if you do a lot of digital content and stuff, yeah, go for it. I don't. I love digital. But most of the time when I do it, I'm being hired by somebody to do something specific. Ooh, I'm getting a phone call from somebody that I recognize. That's actually a client. Oh my. That's fun. I'll just decline that and talk to her in a little bit because I'm almost done here. So that won't be that big a deal. Right now, I still need to kind of like get my head in gear, so I'll get my head in gear. Yeah. To answer your prior question, Michelle, yes, portraits very much have a lot of storytelling to them. I think the difference in that I find in illustration is a little bit more because these are portraits, you know, portraits of dogs, but they're portraits. For me, I like doing fantasy work. I like doing creature creation and things that are, like my private work is not this. The work that I do for me is, fairies and elves and things like that, and dragons and or crazy cartoon characters. So it's a lot different when I say illustration. Really, probably I mean more for my part is cartooning, but illustration. If you're doing a one-off, yeah, portraits definitely can be an illustration. As far as storytelling goes, illustrating books has always been like a passion for me. I really love telling the story through pictures. So, and seeing how much I can capture. It's probably why I became a scenic designer, because basically I make an illustration, but the characters that I put in the illustration are the actors. Oh, that's fabulous. And the NFT about the kind of like easy money and whatever. I don't know. I don't know whether, I guess the reason I'm reluctant is because I don't know whether it's a trend or it's something that's going to stick. You know, I don't know if it's like getting into Betamax before VHS comes out. Oh, you're kidding. Oh my God, Frenchie, that's horrible. That's not really daycare at that point. Yeah, I tried my hand at graphic novel. My problem is that I don't have enough time to do it. Book illustration is one thing. Graphic novels, you know, making 250 pages is a little bit out of the scope of what I have time for at this point. You know, I can do 20 drawings, that's fine. 30, 40, you know, that'll work. But I don't, it would take me months because I don't have the dedicated time to sit down and just do that. If I were full-time art, yeah, I'd be totally doing that. I would love to do that. I have a restless beagle in back of me. Alrighty. We're at about 4:09. You okay over there, buddy? I'm guessing he's alright. I'm just trying to get his bed to the perfect place. So I'll after I get this off to the client, to my friend, I'll post pictures on Instagram or something with his permission, of course. So it's not going to go away entirely. Yeah, I know. I love floppy-eared dogs. Put in a little white in there later. That one. Yeah, some repairs I'm going to have to do, but that's part of the game. Speaking of repairs, just give me 1 second. I'm going to just text that client that tried to call just to see and make sure that it's not something immediate. I did drop off 2 pieces to her today. Oh, hello, kitty. That, my friends, is Princess Ella. Oh, no, it's not. That was Luna. The elusive Dark Queen Luna. Cutest cat, doesn't like me at all. Runs away every time she sees me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Are you venturing into my space, Ella? My God. I mean, Luna? It's fabulous. Luna is this beautiful black cat who has one white crescent on her chest, thus the Luna. I actually adopted the cats because we had lost a couple. One of them was like 22 or something. She was old. No, maybe not so much. 19. She was 19, that's right. One of the kids was 22 when she passed away. I have older kids. Yeah, that's I'll keep that in mind. I don't know if it's because I'm the one that does the nails and brings kitties to vet, etc. So I don't know if she's just associating it with things that she doesn't want to have done. So that's what I've always said to myself, that it's not me, it's the job. It's the cat daddy job. At least that's how the division of work works around here, because my wife, honestly, she definitely would help me with the cats more, but she can't be around cats. So, well, she can't clean up after them anyway. Do I? No, I don't. I absolutely don't. Nope, I don't wear cologne. I don't do anything of the sort. In fact, I normally wear scent-free deodorant even. I don't like smelling like anything. While I'm on all this brown, I figured I'd start working a little bit more shadow work into these posts and whatnot. I get that. Wow, she is very vocal right now. It's not even dinner time yet. Okay, so we've got a few more people that have tuned in, or at least stopped in. So I'll just pitch this again. If you have not subscribed to whatever platform you are watching this on, if you haven't subscribed to my channel or my page, please do so. Lots of stuff coming up all over the place. Also, this week I started a Patreon for the first time. I don't know if anybody else uses this, but I figured I'd give it a whirl and see what happens. And my friends, I meet with my friends from high school once a week. We meet, just kind of like chill out and talk on Zoom. Um, and they're all over the country. And I was like, I don't know if I should. And they're all, kind of pressed me and said, yeah, absolutely. Um, oh yeah. Oh, she's half Siamese. That makes sense. Half Siamese. And she's got far more like seal point features than her sister does. So maybe she got the lion's share of her mother's Siamese. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I don't know if any of the other artists on here use things like Patreon. I'm just giving it a try. I want to see, what it's like. I want to continue my practice after COVID. Um, and I also want to give. I would love to send my art to people. So it's a beta thing. Yeah. I feel so tech savvy on all these beta platforms. It makes me feel like I actually know what I'm doing. I don't know the age of people in the audience necessarily, but I'm, as I said before, I'm in my late 40s, and so I'm not old. But when I think about like computers when I was a kid, and the TI 99-4A that we had in the house, it's like, wow, look, I can get green things to pop up on the TV screen and try to learn a totally different language so I can actually get the computer to do something. Yeah, we've come a long way, baby. And we've got all these, amazing digital natives that are making new stuff now because, the millennials are now of the age where they can do tech entrepreneurship. They're old enough to go ahead and do that and, savvy enough with it. And they were pretty much digital natives when they started. I know my stepdaughters were taking computer class as preschoolers. So definitely digital native. Oh, yes. Yeah. These are watercolors, and I'll be honest with you. I'm like, I've used watercolor all my life, and it's only recently that I've actually grown an affinity for them. They were always kind of a secondary medium for me, and maybe it's just as I get older, I have a very, very, very small uh, uh, amount more of patience than I normally do. And there's just something about working with them that for me is almost meditative. The medium that I spent the most amount of time with, and I actually kind of regret not delving more into paint when I was in my 20s and 30s, was colored pencil. That's what I was doing everything in, and I was going to stick by and be a colored pencil illustrator. And I went to a giant critique in New York. Brought my stuff, and the critiquer, who was a published illustrator, quite good and famous one, took a look at my work and said, "Oh man, I love your characters. You got great characterization here, but you got to stop using color pencil. You got to use paint, because your color pencil just isn't vibrant enough for how vibrant your characters are." I remember it floored me, kind of destroyed me a little bit inside. Well, you know what? That's the drawing thing, Michelle, is not too odd. It probably would be really expensive. The drawing for sculpture is not too odd, because if you think about it, one of the most famous illustrators is actually a sculptor. I don't know why his name just escaped me. Guy that did. I'm going to be very embarrassed because I don't remember his name offhand. Guy that did Polar Express and Jumanji, and oh my god, I cannot remember his name. I'm having a brain just blowout here right now. Chris Alsberg. Yeah. He's actually, his sculptures are freaking amazing. But it's the draftsmanship that he used to use to design his sculptures, Chris Van Allsburg, that he applied to illustrating and doing his storybooks. Yeah. Okay. A few little light details here. Again, I knew I was not going to finish this on this. If you're joining me Sunday for Jason's Draw and Paint Club, Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be working with acrylic wash on a landscape painting. And that is more than likely going to be a 2-week session. So we'll start it this week, and we'll work on it again next week. It's going to kill me not to work on it in between, but it's a very involved piece. It's a tree kind of overhanging a pond. I loved going there, and I loved taking that photograph, and I've always wanted to turn it into a painting. Oh, you know what, Frenchie? You know where I got that? You're gonna laugh. I actually bought a set of brushes at my local art store, but the reason I was buying tiny little brushes was because, and this is where my theater life comes into my artistic life. I was directing a play, and I usually do scenic stuff and props and whatnot for plays, but it was an online play, and I knew that we needed props that were going to be, seen in HD, and we're going to have to be really finely done. And I just couldn't get any of the visual arts students at my school to chip in. I like students to do this stuff. But the theater majors I had were definitely not visual artists. They didn't want to touch anything because they're not that sort of person. So I did, and I started the the premise of the show surrounded Dungeons and Dragons. So I started painting like the little miniatures of monsters and all the fantasy characters, and I got kind of addicted to it. Um, so I started buying little brushes to do that, and found that I could apply them to my regular two-dimensional work as well, and be able to get the same detail I get with microns and all that stuff that I would have to resort to normally before I started using smaller. Like this is a size 0. Oh, bye, Molly. Thank you for coming. So yeah, so that was just one of those interesting little developments, and I started to become obsessed with finding really great small brushes that could handle extreme detail. So I landed on these. This company is actually, you know what? This is made by a craft company. This is made by Plaid. So these are technically like crafters brushes for doing details, not necessarily like formal brushes that you find at an art store that So I don't know. Like when I do a lot of my paintings, I just put up a couple recently. Um, I work with latex paint, latex house paint. Um, so I'm not very formal about what materials I use when it comes to this stuff, because it's all the scenic work that I do. I get really enamored with a certain material that I like using for that, and I learned how to use it on, well, everything. So you learn a lot of tricks in that trade, a lot of workarounds. All right. I am going to be signing off in just a minute and getting back to the other jobs. Michelle, thank you. I'll see you later. And I know that Bobby's broadcast is about to start up on her channel, her artist show. So I'm going to bid everybody a fond farewell and say thank you from the bottom of my cold, black, abysmal little heart. I really, I'll say it as usual when I sign off. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and make art. All right. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. I will see you next time. It's all right. Maybe next time, Michelle.